The EV price wars are still very much alive. Amazing savings on electric vehicles are currently available. I'm curious if any of you electric car enthusiasts have noticed some insane EVs reductions recently. What if I tell you that with the implementation of the most recent pollution regulations, Renault recently reduced the pricing of its electric vehicles? Yes, exactly. The automotive sector is taking the initiative to offer more reasonably priced and environmentally friendly solutions in response to the need to lower carbon emissions. And at the forefront of this movement is the multinational French automaker Renault. Welcome to our video featuring the game changer, how emission rules forced Renault to slash EV prices. Stay tuned as we'll examine Renault's advancements in the electric vehicle business and how they're making electric cars more accessible to the general public in this video. So, let's dive in. In Europe, all of these automakers are griping about the new pollution rules. They claim that it is too difficult for them to comply with these rules. Additionally, they claim that 25% of the vehicles they sell violate the rules. Therefore, it will simply not function. The good news is that they are now offering their electric cars, which are, to be honest, very pricey in Europe, at a reduced price. In Australia, for instance, the Tesla Model Y is $10,000 less expensive. Compared to Thailand, Australia, Malaysia, and New Zealand, the majority of EV vehicles cost at least $10,000 more in Europe. Automakers are finally understanding that they must sell EVs at a low price to avoid paying Tesla billions of dollars in carbon credits, even though it doesn't make logical that cars are too expensive in Europe. That's what they'll do. Nowadays, EVs are available for far less than $20,000 and are quite good. Germany saw a 27% decline in US EV sales last year. "What the hell, Germans?" the rest of the world exclaimed. "What are you guys doing?" France, which is adjacent to Germany, has seen no decline in EV sales. Fascinating. As part of a slew of reductions aimed at increasing EV sales in Europe this year, Renault has lowered the price of their least expensive EV, the DEA Spring, by €2,000, $2,440 in France. Discounts are anticipated to be used by European automakers to increase EV sales to comply with stricter new emissions regulations. To avoid steep fines, EVs must account for at least 1/5, or 20%, of all automobile sales in Europe. However, EVs make up only 13% of all vehicles sold. This number consists of automakers like Tesla, MG, and DEA that only produce electric vehicles. The top low-cost EV brand in the area, DEA, announced that it was lowering the starting price of its electric Spring model to €16,900 to catch up to Leapmotor, a Chinese company that Stellantis partially owns. Leapmotor has had a remarkable surge in sales this year. They may have been the world's fastest-growing automaker last year. The T03 EV is now the least expensive official EV available in Europe after the Chinese company recently reduced its price by €4,000 to €14,900. With a motor that produces 45 horsepower as opposed to 65 horsepower, the new DEA Spring, which is owned by Renault, will be less potent than the more costly model. However, it makes sense because these vehicles are made for driving in Europe's congested urban areas. Both models have a 225-kilometer range thanks to the same battery. For €16,000, you can now purchase a European EV with a range of 225 kilometers. When compared to what you spend in China, it's a complete robbery, but when compared to the rest of Europe, it's a fantastic bargain. That only serves to highlight my thesis, which is that electric cars are absurdly expensive in Europe. Examine the cost of battery packs if you're looking at their prices in China. For almost the past 12 months, battery pack prices have decreased by almost 20%, but selling prices have decreased by 53%. Just now, sale prices fell. Therefore, more EV manufacturers ought to offer their vehicles in Europe at prices that are on par with internal combustion engines. Currently, they aren't, but this year, they will. They are at a loss this year. Renault has been producing some fantastic hot hatchbacks. Up until today, they have never produced an electric hot hatch. Although this is the priciest hot hatch ever, it's also the most insane one I've ever seen. Customers may buy the Renault Megane for just £15,000, about $20,000 for example, which is a substantial discount from the car's original price of £20,000, around $26,000. Measures like cutting back on the number of optional extras included with each car and optimizing the production process were credited with these price reductions. However, in the long term, Renault's choice to lower pricing paid off, even if it initially lost the business money. The tactic raised the demand for Renault automobiles among consumers and enabled the business to comply with emissions regulations, preventing significant fines for non-compliance. Furthermore, Renault's persistent attempts to lower emissions enhanced the company's reputation as an eco-friendly automaker, which may have additional benefits for their operations. Another secret is that, in France, the Renault 5 Turbo 3e was unveiled. I think it will be released either in early 2026 or toward the end of 2025. This isn't a concept car, it's the most insane hatchback ever produced. As its name suggests, it is based on the Renault 5, but it isn't turbocharged in any way. Renault's decision to utilize the word turbo in the same way as Porsche did with the Porsche Taycan Turbo is quite strange. According to Renault, the R5 Turbo 3e will have slightly more than 500 horsepower or 373 kilowatts. The back wheels receive all of that power. This is going to be a wild ride, I promise. It can, therefore, go from 0 to 100 or 0 to 62 miles per hour in 3/2 a second. It outperforms an Aston Martin DB11 with twin-turbo V12 engines. It outpaces a Ferrari Enzo in speed. Compared to a Nissan R35 GDR, it is faster. I think this item would look amazing if it didn't have that absurd name. Work, to be exact. Just picture this thing in, say, gunmetal gray or something a little more subdued. It would be awesome, in my opinion. The R5 Turbo 3e will outperform the Alpine A290 hot hatch. Alpine has a hot hatch and is similar to Renault's high-end sibling brand. Given how much more powerful this item is than that, an Alpine version may also be produced. Despite its outstanding features, this vehicle includes 2 in-wheel electric hub motors that provide accurate torque control and a limited slip differential. Basically, it's extremely costly, despite having some really nice features. Its superstructure is made of carbon. I have no idea what the term superstructure actually implies. It is lightweight and rigid. The weight of this will probably be significantly lower than that of other hot hatch EVs, because, I believe, it has a carbon tub. The latest findings indicate that Renault has seen a notable boost in sales of electric vehicles in recent years. Renault sold more than 95,000 electric cars globally in 2020, a 41% increase over the year before. With 66,700 sales, the company's recently launched electric automobile, the Renault Zoe, is among the best-selling electric vehicles worldwide. Renault has significantly reduced harmful emissions by lowering the cost of electric vehicles for consumers, especially in metropolitan areas where conventional vehicle emissions are highest. The European Environment Agency claims that automobile emissions are the primary cause of air pollution in European cities, which can lead to major health issues like respiratory infections, heart disease, and lung cancer. In 2020 alone, Renault may have saved more than 21,000 tons of carbon emissions by lowering the cost of its electric cars. As consumers move from conventional internal combustion engine, ICE vehicles, to electric vehicles, which have zero tailpipe emissions, Renault's electric vehicle sales have surged, which is responsible for these emissions reductions. Additionally, Renault's dedication to environmentally friendly transportation has improved the company's financial performance in addition to helping the environment. With sales of electric vehicles making up an increasing portion of the company's total income, Renault's electric vehicle division has seen a rise in revenue due to the growing demand for electric vehicles. However, the advantages of environmentally friendly transportation are highlighted by Renault's response to the new pollution regulations, especially through reasonably priced electric cars. By lowering the cost of its electric cars, Renault has made eco-friendly automobiles more accessible to consumers, which has decreased pollution and hazardous emissions. Renault's creative approach shows how businesses may contribute significantly to lowering carbon emissions and advancing sustainable development. Renault's recent move to slash EV prices can be seen as nothing short of a game-changer in the automotive industry. Though they were forced to do so due to strict emission rules, this decision has enabled them to take a bold step towards sustainable technology and saving the environment. Moreover, by making EVs more affordable, Renault has opened up the possibility of electric cars becoming a commonplace choice for drivers. With more car manufacturers likely to follow suit, we can hope for a greener, cleaner, and more eco-friendly future for all. And remember, every step towards sustainability counts. So let's all do our part to make a significant impact in saving our planet. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights into the evolving world of electric vehicles.